A spoiled influencer insisted I move from a private beach cabana, snapping, "I have millions of followers, so I deserve the best spot." When I refused, she smirked, "Watch this." Moments later, she posted a rant about me, and her comments filled with, "That's her beach house, you idiot." Her jaw dropped as she realized who I was. Let me take you back to a sunny afternoon on the private beaches of Malibu, California. My name is Margaret Maggie Thompson, a retired schoolteacher who has spent the better part of her life educating young minds in Los Angeles. After decades of hard work, I treated myself to a quaint beach house with a private cabana, a sanctuary where I could enjoy the ocean's serenity. It was a typical Saturday, and I was lounging in my cabana, sipping on some iced tea and reading a novel. The beach was relatively quiet, a perk of owning a private stretch of sand. Suddenly, I noticed a young woman, clad in designer beachwear, approaching with a determined stride. "Excuse me," she said, her tone dripping with entitlement. "I need you to move. I have millions of followers, so I deserve the best spot." I looked up, slightly bemused. "I'm sorry, but this is private property. This cabana belongs to me." She scoffed, pulling out her phone. "Watch this," she sneered, turning the camera on herself. Within moments, she was live streaming, her voice loud and dramatic. "Can you believe this? Some old hag refusing to let me use the best spot on the beach. Unbelievable." I remained seated, choosing not to engage. After a few minutes, she ended the stream, looking smug. Her confidence was short-lived. Almost immediately, her phone buzzed incessantly. Her expression shifted from smugness to confusion, then to horror. "Wait, what?" she muttered, scrolling through the comments. "This is her beach house, you idiot," one comment read. "You're trespassing," said another. She looked up at me, her face pale. I didn't know." I offered a gentle smile. "Perhaps next time, consider asking politely before making assumptions." The incident quickly went viral, with many praising the poetic justice of the situation. The influencer faced significant backlash, losing sponsorships and followers. As for me, I continued to enjoy my peaceful beach days, occasionally chuckling at the memory of the day an entitled influencer learned a valuable lesson in humility. In a world dominated by social media and instant gratification, this encounter served as a reminder that respect and kindness go a long way. It's essential to remember that behind every screen is a real person, deserving of courtesy and understanding. She didn't leave right away. After her phone exploded with comments telling her she was dead wrong, she stood there frozen, staring at the screen like it betrayed her. Then her jaw tightened and her whole posture changed. She wasn't embarrassed. She was mad. "I didn't know it was yours," she said, her voice sharper now, defensive. "You didn't ask either," I replied, keeping my voice calm. She rolled her eyes and crossed her arms. "This still isn't fair. I mean, can't we just share it? You're not even using the whole cabana." I raised an eyebrow. "It's private property." "That's not how this works." She took a slow look around the beach like she was trying to figure out how to flip this situation. I could almost see the gears turning in her head. Then she smirked again. "You're going to regret this," she muttered. I didn't say anything. I'd dealt with more disrespectful teenagers than I could count in my teaching years. Drama didn't rattle me. I went back to my book, pretending I hadn't heard her. But she wasn't bluffing. That night, my neighbor Dave texted me a link. "Hey Maggie, you might want to see this," he said. It was a YouTube video. Same girl. Same cabana. But this time, she had edited the video to look like I screamed at her, cursed her out, and physically blocked her from the beach. She even added subtitles. "Unhinged boomer attacks me on beach I rented." I watched in silence as she layered dramatic music under a total lie. The video was gaining views fast. I clicked the comments. Some people saw through it. "That's literally her house behind her," one person pointed out, but most didn't. Her fans were furious. People were calling me names, threatening to report me to who knows what, and saying I should be banned from the beach I literally owned. That's when things got serious. The next morning, I woke up to spray paint on my fence. Boomers GTFO. A dead fish was left on my porch. I'd seen stuff like this on TV, but having it happen to you is a whole different feeling. I stood there, looking at the mess, and my heart was pounding. I called the sheriff. He came by, took photos, made a report, and promised to look into it. Probably just internet trolls, he said. But we'll keep an eye out. But that wasn't enough. So I started gathering everything. Every clip, every screenshot, every comment. My niece, who works in digital marketing, helped me put together a full report. I sent it to YouTube. I filed a police report. I reached out to a lawyer. She wasn't going to get away with this. That week, while I was sorting through legal documents and trying to remember the password to my old Facebook account, she posted another video. This time, she was crying. Fake crying. My mental health is so bad right now, she sniffled. People are so mean. I was just trying to enjoy my weekend. And that woman, she screamed at me for no reason. I was scared for my life. I stared at the screen, floored. She was doubling down. People ate it up. Her followers were posting, "We believe you," and "Don't let the haters win." Meanwhile, I couldn't even walk to the mailbox without wondering if someone would throw something at me. That's when my lawyer found something. Apparently, this girl had done this before. In Miami. In Hawaii. Even at a resort in Aspen. Same pattern. Show up somewhere she had no right to be, claim she was harassed, milk it for views. One resort manager had even sued her, but the case got dropped when she deleted the video and left the state. But she'd never pulled the stunt on someone who had receipts. And I had plenty. She went silent online for about 3 days. I figured maybe the pressure was getting to her, or her manager finally stepped in. Maybe she realized I wasn't just some random old woman she could push around for clout. I was wrong. On the 4th day, I got a visit. 2 men, dressed in business casual, showed up at my door. One introduced himself as Jake, said he worked for a media management firm representing a major influencer. The other didn't say a word, just stood behind him with a tablet and a fake smile. Jake pulled out a folder. "We'd like to discuss a mutual agreement that can help de-escalate the situation," he said, all smooth and polished. I raised an eyebrow. "Which situation is that?" He chuckled like we were old friends. "There's been a misunderstanding. Our client feels that maybe things got a bit heated, and she'd like to move forward, peacefully. If you could agree to withdraw your legal claim, we'd be happy to issue a statement clarifying that this was all a big mix-up." He slid the folder toward me. "And in return, you'd receive a generous settlement. $5,000. Confidentiality included, of course." I didn't even open it. "Let me get this straight," I said. "Your client lies about me, lets her fans harass me, trashes my property, and you want to pay me $5,000 to say nothing happened?" Jake's smile didn't fade. "It's a fair offer, considering." I laughed in his face. They left shortly after, but that was when I realized she was scared. Scared enough to send people to try and buy me off. Which meant I was doing something right. But the weirdest part came the next morning. Someone had parked a Tesla in front of my house, bright pink, wrapped in her face and logo. I kid you not. Like she was marking territory. I called the sheriff again. They had it towed, but I knew this wasn't just a prank. It was a message. She was doubling down again. So I fought back smarter. I contacted the other resort manager from Aspen, the one who tried to sue her. He told me everything. She used fake rental documents, brought a small film crew, staged arguments, pretended to be the victim. He said he'd kept copies of everything, just never got far because she skipped town. I got him in touch with my lawyer. Then I dug further. Turns out, she'd faked a college degree, lied about working with charities. Even her biggest sponsorships? Half of them were companies she made up, just logos, websites, no real products. My niece helped me collect it all into a clean, easy-to-read digital file. We sent it to the lawyer, then to the local news. 3 days later, a reporter knocked on my door. She wanted an interview. I told her everything. Showed her the messages, the threats, the vandalism, the video lies. I even pulled out the beach cabana lease with my name on it, dated and signed, and the property deed. When the story aired, it went viral again, but this time in my favor. And that's when things flipped hard. Her sponsors pulled out. Her YouTube channel was demonetized. Her management company? Gone. People started digging through her old videos, finding even more shady behavior. Someone found footage where she had yelled at a barista for messing up her coffee, called it content. She posted a video saying she was being bullied and canceled for being too real. No tears this time. Just panic behind the ring light. But here's the thing. This wasn't about cancel culture. It was about consequences. And I wasn't finished. It all started crashing down around her. Once the news piece aired, things moved fast. Real sponsors started speaking out, saying they had no idea who she was or that she had ever worked with them. Her follower count began to drop by the thousands every hour. People who used to defend her turned on her, calling her out in the comments for being fake, a bully, a fraud. But she wasn't going to go down quietly. One morning, I stepped out onto the porch and saw a man standing near the end of my driveway, snapping photos of my house. He didn't look like press. He looked nervous, jumpy. When I walked down to ask what he was doing, he took off running. I called it in again. The sheriff drove by more often after that, but something in me shifted. This wasn't funny anymore. It was dangerous. I stayed inside most of the time. I felt trapped in my own beach house. I started resenting this place I once loved. The cabana sat empty. Every time I looked at it, I felt angry. I started snapping at my niece, who was just trying to help. I didn't sleep well. My blood pressure spiked. And that's when I realized she wasn't the only one who messed up. I let this girl get under my skin. I gave her too much power. But that didn't mean I was letting her off easy. My lawyer filed the lawsuit officially. Defamation, harassment, property damage. I added every bit of evidence. The photos, the videos, even the news footage. The sheriff backed up my claims. We served her the papers 2 weeks later at an event in Santa Monica where she tried to relaunch her brand. She looked straight at the man handing her the envelope and started crying on camera again. No one cared this time. The internet was tired of her. Then came the real twist. A woman emailed me. Said her name was Sasha. Claimed she used to be best friends with the influencer back when they were just broke college roommates sharing a one-bedroom in Arizona. Sasha had seen the story on the news and recognized the pattern. She had screenshots, texts, voice memos. Proof that this influencer had done this kind of thing before, faked breakdowns, bullied people, used sob stories to silence her enemies. She sent it all to my lawyer for free. Said she was tired of seeing people get hurt. That evidence changed everything. The influencer's lawyer tried to settle again. This time for real money, $200,000. Said they'd wipe the videos, issue a full apology, and never speak of me again. But I said no. I didn't want an apology from someone who only gave one when they got caught. I wanted this to go to court. The trial date came fast. By then, the story had become national news. People showed up outside the courthouse. I walked in with my niece holding my hand. Inside, it felt surreal. The influencer was there, no makeup, no designer clothes, just a gray suit and a blank stare. She didn't speak much during the trial. Her lawyer tried everything, said she was young, emotional, didn't mean harm. But my lawyer was better. He played her live streams, showed the fake texts, the vandalism, the fake sponsors. The whole room watched her image unravel piece by piece. When the judge ruled in my favor, the room clapped. Not loud, just enough for her to hear. She owed me $850,000 in damages. She tried to appeal. Lost. She sold her car, her condo, her equipment. She vanished from the internet. Every time she tried to start fresh under a new name, people found her and reminded her of what she did. Her own fanbase never came back. She faded out, blocked by the same platforms that once made her famous. As for me, I moved, sold the beach house, took the money and bought a little mountain cabin in Big Bear where no one could park a Tesla in my driveway. I go for hikes now. I bake. I sleep well again. But I kept one thing. That Cabana's private property sign. I hung it on the wall of my new living room. A little reminder that standing your ground might cost you peace for a while, but some people don't learn until you make them. She learned. And so did I.